Alright, welcome back to the GeoLang channel. Today we're going to talk about the Latvian language. Latvian, also known as Lettish, is an East Baltic language belonging to the Indo-European language family. It belongs to the Baltic sub-branch of the Balto-Slavic branch in the family, and is spoken in the Baltic region. It is a language of the Latvians, and the official language of Latvia, as well as one of the official languages of the European Union. There are about 1.2 million native Latvian speakers in Latvia, and 100,000 abroad. Altogether, 2 million or 80% of the population of Latvia spoke Latvian in the 2000s, before the total number of Latvians in Latvia slipped to 1.8 million in 2022. Of those, around 1.16 million or 62% of Latvia's population used it as their primary language at home, though excluding the Latgale and Riga regions. It is spoken as a native language in villages and towns by over 90% of the population. As a Baltic language, Latvian is most closely related to neighboring Lithuanian, as well as Old Prussian, an extinct Baltic language. However, Latvian has followed a more rapid development. In addition, there's some disagreement whether Latgalian or Kursanayski, which are mutually intelligible with Latvian, should be considered varieties or separate languages. Latvian first appeared in print in the mid-16th century with the reproduction of the Lord's Prayer in Latvian in Sebastian Münster's book in Latin script. A little bit of history on its origins. According to some speculations, the East Baltic language is split from West Baltic, or perhaps from the hypothetical Proto-Baltic language, between 400 and 600 CE. The differentiation between Lithuanian and Latvian started after 800 CE. At a minimum, transitional dialects existed until the 14th century or 15th century, and perhaps as late as the 17th century. Latvian as a distinct language emerged over several centuries from the language spoken by the ancient Latgalians, assimilating the languages of other neighboring Baltic tribes: Curonian, Sigmailian, and Selonian, which resulted in these languages gradually losing their most distinct characteristics. This process of consolidation started in the 13th century after the Livonian Crusade and forced Christianization, which formed a unified political, economic, and religious space in medieval Livonia. This map shows the concentration of Latvian speakers in Latvia. And then this one shows some of the Baltic tribes in 1200 CE. The oldest known examples of written Latvian are from a 1530 translation of a hymn made by Nicolaus Rome, a German pastor in Riga. The oldest preserved book in Latvian is a 1585 Catholic Catechism of Petrus Canisius, currently located in the Uppsala University Library. The first person to translate the Bible into Latvian was the German Lutheran pastor Johann Ernst Gluck. The Lutheran pastor Gotthard Friedrich Stender was a founder of Latvian secular literature. He wrote the first illustrated Latvian alphabet book in 1787, the first encyclopedia, the Book of High Wisdom of the World and Nature, and grammar books and Latvian German and German Latvian dictionaries. Until the 19th century, the Latvian written language was influenced by German Lutheran pastors and the German language, because Baltic Germans formed the upper class of local society. In the middle of the 19th century, the first Latvian national awakening had started, led by young Latvians who popularized the use of Latvian language. Participants in this movement laid the foundations for Standard Latvian and also popularized the Latvianization of loanwords. However, in 1880, when Tsar Alexander III came to power, Russification started. According to 1897 Imperial Russian census, there were over 505,000 speakers of Latvian in the Governorate of Courland, and over 563,000 speakers of Latvian in the Governorate of Livonia, making Latvian speakers the largest linguistic group in each of the governorates. And this map shows some of the dialects in Latvia. After the death of Alexander III, at the end of the 19th century, Latvian nationalist movements re-emerged. In 1908, Latvian linguists Karlis Menbas and Janis Enzelins elaborated the modern Latvian alphabet, which slowly replaced the old orthography used before. Another feature of the language, in common with its sister language Lithuanian, that was developed at the time in that proper names from other countries and languages are altered phonetically to fit the phonological system of Latvian, even if the original language also uses the Latin alphabet. Moreover, the names are modified to ensure that they have noun declension endings, declining like all other nouns. For example, a place such as Lecropt, a Scottish parish, is likely to become Lecropta. The Scottish village of Tilkuthi becomes Tilkuthria. After the Soviet occupation of Latvia, the policy of Russification greatly affected the Latvian language. At the same time, the use of Latvian among Latvians in Russia had already dwindled after the so-called 1937 to 1938 Latvian operations of the NKVD, during which at least 16,573 ethnic Latvians and Latvian nationals were executed. In the 1941 June deportation and the 1949 Operation Priboi, tens of thousands of Latvians and other ethnicities were deported from Latvia. Massive immigration from Russian SFSR, Ukrainian SSR, Belarusian SSR, and other republics of the Soviet Union followed, primarily as a result of Stalin's plan to integrate Latvia and the other Baltic republics into the Soviet Union through colonization. As a result, the proportion of ethnic Latvian population within the total population was reduced from 80% in 1935 to 52% in 1989. In Soviet Latvia, most of the immigrants who settled in the country did not learn Latvian. According to a 2011 census, Latvian was the language spoken at home by 62% of the country's population. After the reestablishment of independence in 1991, a new policy of language education was introduced. The primary declared goal was the integration of all inhabitants into the environment of the official state language, while protecting the languages of Latvia's ethnic minorities. Government-funded bilingual education was available in primary schools for ethnic minorities until 2019, when Parliament decided on educating only in Latvian. Minority schools are available for Russian, Yiddish, Polish, Lithuanian, Ukrainian, Belarusian, Estonian, and Roma schools. Latvian is taught as a second language in the initial stages too, as is officially declared, to encourage proficiency in that language, aiming at avoiding alienation from the Latvian-speaking linguistic majority, and for the sake of facilitating academics and professional achievements. Since the mid-1990s, the government may pay a student's tuition in public universities, only provided that the instruction is in Latvian. Since 2004, the state mandates Latvian as the language of instruction in public secondary schools for at least 60% of classwork. The official language law was adopted on 9th December 1999. Several regulatory acts associated with this law have been adopted. Observance of the law is monitored by the Latvian State Language Center run by the Ministry of Justice. To counter the influence of Russian and English, government organizations popularized the use of Latvian terms. A debate arose over the Latvian term for euro. The Terminology Commission suggested era or ers, with the Latvianized and declinable ending, would be a better term for euro than the widely used euro, while the European Central Bank insisted that the original name euro be used in all languages. New terms are Latvian derivatives, calques, or new loanwords. For example, Latvian has two words for telephone, terunlis and telefons. the former being a direct translation into Latvian, and the other, or of the latter international term. Still, others are older and more euphonic loanwords rather than Latvian loanwords. For example, computer can be either dators or computers. Both are loanwords. The native Latvian word for computer is skaitjotais, which is also an official term. However, nowdaters had been considered an appropriate translation. Skaitlotais is also used. There are several contests held annually to promote the correct use of Latvian. One of them is Word of the Year, organized by the Riga Latvian Society since 2003. It features categories such as Best Word, Worst Word, Best Saying, and Word Salad. In 2018, the word for an instant payment won the category of Best Word. And the word for influencer won the category of Worst Word. The word pair of stream and streaming were named the best words in 2017, while the word transport, as an unnecessary plural of the name for transport, was chosen as the worst word in 2017. Alright, thank you all for watching this video, and let me know if you want to hear some more videos about some other language in the Balto-Slavic family. Thank you.